Hello and welcome to today's Microsoft Dynamics webinar hosted by Ledu Partners. For those that have been on our webinars in the past, I want to say welcome back, and for all you newcomers, it's nice to virtually meet you. And thank you for giving us time today as we take a look at the brand new enhancements and potential that's coming with the latest version 9 updates from Microsoft Dynamics. My name is Chad Collette and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Ledu Partners. We're a Microsoft Dynamics Gold Partner. We're a business and technology consulting company who partners with organizations to transform their sales, marketing, and customer service operations and processes that are supported by core technologies like CRM and marketing automation. Now, before I introduce our presenter, I have just a couple of quick housekeeping items to cover. First off, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand after the live session. All attendees will receive a follow-up email from me after the webinar is complete, with a link to access the presentation. We encourage you to share this within your company and also your professional network. Now, to ensure the best audio quality, we have everyone on listen-only mode. But if you have a question or a comment, please submit those in the question pane of your GoToWebinar control panel. Tom's got a lot of information to cover today, so all the questions we'll take offline and make sure we follow up with you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a true Microsoft Dynamics guru and enthusiast, Tom Lemeron, a pre-sales technical engineer with Ledu Partners. Beyond a long list of certifications, Tom has a decade worth of experience in CRM environments and loves CRM because it's the MacGyver of application platforms, always evolving like you're going to see today, and can be used for almost anything. Tom, thanks for joining us today.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Chad. Thanks for that great introduction. Like Chad mentioned, we have a lot to cover, and I like to try to keep a tight ship around here, so I'll try to get you out of here in 30 minutes. But these are the different things that we'll be reviewing today. So we'll be looking at the refresh web user interface, and we'll be calling it the web user interface. Just think about what you're using right now is what they classify as the web user interface. We're going to be exploring the new unified user interface. We'll look at some end user functionality. We'll look at the new mobile app, the new Outlook app. We'll talk about some additional features. We'll discuss the deprecation list. What does that mean? And then at the end, we'll wrap it up on, what is that upgrade process and what is the discussion? So the first thing I do want to point out is that this is a CRM online only release at this time. If you are on premise and you're interested in going to this, there should be some, the ability to upgrade later on this year. But as of right now, this is a CRM online only package. So let's jump right into the demo. Then we'll come back into here and talk about some more, some of the other features that are available. But like I always like to say is that I like to show the product first and then jump into, some of the additional items. So let me bring this up here. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to jump right into the different items here. I'm not going to really go over an overview. So I apologize if some of you have never seen Dynamics before. I'm just going to really focus on the version 9 features and enhancements. If you want to see a full demo of Dynamics, please give us a call, and we're more than happy to kind of walk you through it and talk through different scenarios. But with that, I'm just looking at an account list right now. Notice, kind of a little bit gray, a little bit different look and feel for the grids here. But the biggest thing that you're going to see within this web interface is going to be the actual forms. So 3 things I was going to say Microsoft has talked about that they said have been their top requested features that they probably since, I would say, version 4.0, maybe 2011. The 3 has been eliminate the white space, have some text wrapping capabilities, and then more theming. So if you look at this right now, what you're going to see is that you don't have the whitewash like you see in the other ones. So I know that's been a complaint for a lot of people, but now they've really done really well with this new web interface here. So let me just show you some capabilities here. So again, I can very easily tell where I'm at. I can tab to my different areas. It highlights the different fields that I'm on. It can tell me if I don't have a field filled in. Notice how it has the lines going across. All my sections are nicely, boxed in here now to kind of eliminate some of the white space that's in here. If I have, let's say if I have a list here and all these lists are populated, so let me scroll down here. If I don't have something, it's going to tell me that there's no records available in there. So now, I don't have to guess where I have to put my records or if I have data in there or what I need to be entering in. Another things that, I kind of hate to say this, but they have made all the font the same and all the same font sizes. So that was something that was not available or wasn't the same in older versions. So that's there. Some other pieces that they have is now they do some text wrapping. So notice right here, this is, here's a field with a very long display name on it. And notice how it wraps the 3 columns. So the 3rd column is kind of grayed out just a little bit, but you can tell it pretty easily what this is now instead of just fading off into the distance like it used to. And then it also will automatically wrap up the 3 lines for any of your single line text. Now, again, this is something that you turn on from an organization standpoint. So if you like it just going off into the distance, you can keep it that way. Otherwise, you can turn it on in your settings area. The other area that they added into here now is what they call the multiple select pick list. So as you know, if you wanted the multiple select pick list in the past, you would have to use a solution like Ledger Partners create a solution, probably other people you could download solutions out there. But now it's just part of the default capabilities inside of Dynamics. And the nice thing is that the interface is pretty easy to look at here. So now if you notice, these are the 3 fields that I have selected. I can do my drop down and it can do multiple select lists if I want to add service on to here. Again, I only have a list of 5 items, but let's say if I had a list of 100 items here, I can do some text, I can start doing some stuff here, and now it will auto pre-filter my list on here. It's really simple for me to, edit the list if I need to. And then once I go off the list, it actually just saves it as a semicolon separated list on here. And it's one control. So there's only one field that's on here. There's not like multiple fields that you have to look at. So if you're importing in data, you can just do it through this list and it automatically goes into the field you need it to. This can also be used within Advanced Find, and it can also be used within an editable grid on any of the views that you have. So it's a pretty nice utility that, again, it's out of the box now. So this is one of those areas where if you use multiple select pick lists, you might want to look at converting this, or, again, if you haven't used it, now there's the capability to use it out of the box moving forward. The other area is that, there's theming in here. I don't have a theme turned on. As you can tell, I just have the dark bar on here and pretty much the standard theme. But notice on my subgrids, I just have some colors associated to these subgrids. So that was just a really simple thing they added into additional theming capabilities, that on every subgrid, you can recolor it how you want to color it. So, this was pretty simple how I did this. So those are really kind of the changes that were made within inside the web interface. So let's go back to the list of accounts I have here. And this is what I want to show you. So I have this CRM module area here, and notice that this is the multiple select pick list, same capabilities that I have on the form. So I can look in here and I can, remove any of the options that I already selected. I can go and create more options on here, but it allows me to, very easily use a multiple select pick list right through my views. The other area or enhancement that they made inside of here is the ability. And so how many of you have come across that were like, I want to know all my accounts that have no opportunities, or I want all my accounts that have no, activities against it. Well, they have finally added a not in clause within the Advanced Find capabilities. Now, for all of you techies out there that could take the Advanced Find and export it and kind of take it out of there, you could do the not in, but now they do it through the user interface here. So now what I can do is that, I can look at all my accounts here that do not have an opportunity associated with it. So this is new features, functionality inside of here. So it's right inside of the Advanced Find. So that's a nice one that, again, I feel that that's been being asked for a lot. So that's a nice feature that they added into here. The last piece that I want to show you before I go into our nice unified user interface here are called action buttons. So don't get this confused with actions inside the processes, but what this means is that I can go into a business process flow. And let me do this. I'm going to go into this nice, this is a test opportunity here. And notice now I just have my business process flow going across the top here. Nothing new, but as I can go through here, I can enter in the customer need. And again, this is nothing new. So then it just checks it off. Well, now notice there's this create task. and it says execute. And in this form, it looks like a button. So what I can do now is behind the scenes is that I can manually run on-demand workflow from my process flow. So now if there's different areas that, you know what, through this I want to run a process, but maybe it's not a trigger based on something that I'm doing, you know, switching from stage to stage or something that I'm doing from a data perspective, but it's really just, you know what, I want to do this action. You can add these actions now into the business process flow and just hit execute. Notice how it says processing on the back end. This is a really quick workflow, so it didn't take that long. And what this does behind the scenes is that it just adds this thing, you know, complete this task. So this was a very simple example on what it can be done. But the nice thing is that this allows me now to put pretty much on-demand workflows inside of my business process flow and have a button control it. So those are really the new features and capabilities inside of Dynamics. And we also looked at what the web interface look like. But now I really want to focus on the new unified user interface, because this is the future of Dynamics. For those of you that have worked on or looked at the interactive service hub in your current version or previous versions, it's based on that, but I want to tell you that they have really enhanced it and really grown it. So you can access it right through here if you've played with apps before. So notice I have one here called CRM Hub, but I can have multiple different apps on here, and just based on how you name them, and you can tell by the icon, and you can custom the icon, of course. You can tell if this is going to be a new user interface, or if this a unified user interface, or if it's going to be the standard web interface. But I just open this up in a separate tab. Everything that I have done inside the web interface automatically gets converted into the unified interface, meaning all dashboards, all my forms. I still only need to take care of one form. So I don't have to manage multiple different forms. I don't have to manage a user interface form a unified interface form compared to a web interface. Now, again, I can have different forms, and I'll show you that capability inside of here. But here are those same dashboards. I actually kind of like the look of the feel of the dashboards inside of here compared to what were, you know, kind of out of the box. I like the colors, and I feel that they're a little bit cleaner. Then also, if you guys are familiar with the interactive dashboards, so the interactive dashboards are now available through here too, just like it used to be on the, you know, interactive service hub. The only thing different is that now I'm going to show you an example for a customer service dashboard, but now you can do these interactive dashboards against any entity inside of Dynamics. You can do it in sales, you can do it in field service, you can do it in project service, you can do it in marketing, you can do it in any area that you have, you know, an entity. You can do an interactive dashboard now. But if I'm going to look at this tier 2, I know that my data set here is a little bit older, so I got to go back to my previous quarter here. And now again, this is very similar. You've probably seen this in your current ones if anyone has looked at the interactive service hub. But the reason why it's called interactive here is that, you know, if I want to look at my high priorities, notice I have a list of all my cases. There's 33 on here. I have my cases by product. I have my breakdown by incident type. I have my case mix origin, and I have all my different queues and views based on, you know, all the information I'm looking here. But I want to focus on my high priority cases right now. So I just click on here to filter it. Notice it filters down to the 6, tells me what the cases by product are, you know, and it just automatically breaks down this whole dashboard so I can see, you know, what I'm looking at, what I need to be focusing on. And these now are completely configurable for any area inside Dynamics as long as you're using the unified interface. Also, some of you I know like that integration with Power BI. So you still have that same Power BI integration on here, so I can access Power BI through the unified service, the unified interface here. And then the one thing that's a little bit different is the menu a little bit different. Notice I still have the breadcrumbs up here, but I don't have a way to say, you know, where do I want to go to on here? That is, there's this menu on the side here. So this one's very specific to sales. So all I have are accounts, contacts, leads, and opportunities. Very clean. You know, if I want to look at previous records that I looked at, I can click on here and it brings back kind of the recently viewed records for the items that I'm looking at. But this is, you know, again, they kind of change the look and feel of this, you know, of this interface. So now if I look at my active accounts, again, same thing. I have this same list here. I have the ability to do my filtering. I can, you know, I can do my sorting on here, but instead of having to turn on the filters, this just automatically allows me to filter per column. I still have access to all my views that I have on here. I can pin my different views. So it still gives me the same capability that I had before when managing my views. Now, the biggest thing is that when we get into the actual forms, this is where it's changing the most. So now, some of you from CRM 4.0 or earlier land, you had tabs. They took away tabs. They're providing tabs back now. So if you have tabs on your forms, the tabs go across the top here. So notice here's my summary, my details, but it's just a much cleaner interface in here too. I really like the look of this. You still have your taskbar up here. You know, you can do all the different things that you could do before. You know, notice the integration with Flow now. So everything you could do before, you can still do inside this new user interface. But the nice thing is that I love this timeline. I really think this is a great improvement. So before, notice, you know, in the old interface, you always had those tabs, right? You had the posts, activities, notes. If you had OneNote integration, you had these tabs, and you had to go back and forth between them. Now it's just one single view of everything, and it puts everything that you've done into a timeline, and it tells you what it's sorted by. So I can say that's last updated date on here, and I can just go through here and look at all my different items, and this will show you all my notes. This will show me all my activities and all my posts in this timeline. Also, what I like here is what you have missed. So I've created a new activity, hence was that task that I ran when I was on that business process flow. So it's going to show me, so it's going to tell me how many, you know, if I have any new tasks, if I have any new posts, if I have any new notes on here, it's going to alert me to that every time I open up, you know, a contact or sorry, an account or any other record that has this timeline against it. Other nice thing that I really like about this is that notice here's an email that got tracked. I can look at my email, it's still telling me this good old block contact because of HTML. But the nice thing is that this email had an attachment on it. Instead of me having to drill into the email, I can access the attachment right through here. So if I have multiple different attachments, I don't have to drill into my emails to get my attachments now. They just display right here on the interface. So, you know, very clean, very nice. Also, some more capabilities that I really like inside of here is that I'm going to go into here and I'm going to say open the filter pane. I love this part of this. So now look at here, it's telling me what are my different records are. I can click on any of these, add the filters. Notice I have some interactive dashboards on here. I want to see all my overdue activities. Click on here. Now it pre-filters it all my overdue activities. Now my list is just my overdue activities that I have on here. So I do really like this timeline. I think this is a great improvement. So it's something that, you know, again, if you're looking at 9.0, you know, if you're moving to it, you don't have to use this unified, you know, user interface, but it's something that just for the timeline, in my opinion, is very beneficial. Other thing here is that notice my subgrids, you know, convert to kind of this, you know, card looking area. But the one item is that I still have to scroll up and down to see. So here's my contacts, here's my opportunities, here's my cases. Well, there is a new feature that's only available in the unified interface called reference panel. So what I did was I just took the same capabilities I did over here and I put it in a reference panel. Now notice it's very clean and I have a list here. So here are my contacts. I can put what type of icon I want against it. Here's my opportunities, here's my same list, and here are my cases. So now it just gives me a cleaner look. I don't have to be scrolling up and down to see everything that I need to see. So this reference panel is something new that's available here inside the unified interface. All right, so what are some other features that are inside of here that are really neat? So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to create. So notice now I can create anything with one, you know, kind of plus sign inside of here. So it's kind of a unified creation. I can do all my activities. I can do notes. I can do OneNote through here. I can do posts in here. Let's jump into an email activity here. So as we know, with the latest version, 8.2, it might even be in, you know, an earlier one, 8.1, 8.0. They added signatures into it. Most people have the web browsers where they have the ability to, you know, do spell check. So what was that third thing that was missing from actually creating or recommending creating emails from inside of Dynamics is really having an editor. Well, now they provided the same editor. If you're used to the new knowledge base editor, they put that knowledge base editor inside of the email. So now notice I have this really nice editor in here. I can change a lot of different things where I couldn't do it before. I didn't have any editor before in my emails unless you had a custom, process added into your solution. But now I can do, pretty much any type of thing. I can grab different things. I can put images inside of here. If I, again, this is more for me as a rep or me as a user of CRM to send emails out. This is not a replacement for marketing automation. Just a quick note, some people have asked about marketing automation. I'll tell you that's in beta testing right now, so we'll have some more discussions about that, what Microsoft is doing with marketing automation. So that'll be a further discussion and further blogs. But what I can tell you is that this editor is probably something that's going to be similar available in there. But now what the nice thing is that if I'm really a user and I want to do something really cool in HTML, I can have that access. But what's even better is that I can preview what my email looks like and what it's sending to and what it's going to look at. And now, I can go, I have an undo and different things inside of here. So it's a nice feature they added into the email. But again, they only added this into the unified user interface. If I use the web interface, I go back to my good old just having a block of multiple line text in there to be able to, create my email. So that was, those are kind of the new features and functionalities inside the unified user interface. But why is it called unified user interface? I know a lot of people have that question is that, why is it UUI? What is the thing? What they're trying to say is that the experience that I have here, I can have this experience everywhere. So again, I'm on a web browser. I'm in Chrome actually, so I have that experience here. So let me do this. I'm going to actually bring up my iPad. And so I'm going to bring up my iPad right now. All right, so my iPad is up and I have my iPad sitting next to me. I know you can't see that. I'm just displaying it on my desktop. But here's the sales management dashboard. Here's all the same exact dashboards that we were looking at before. I'm in a mobile app right now. I'm actually in the tablet app. So if I look at here, I have access to all of my dashboards. I can control what dashboards go to my mobile if I want to. But nice thing is too, I also have access to Power BI still like I did before with my old version. So nothing really gone away from a dashboarding other than it just looks much cleaner in this version. But here are my again. Here is my my menu with everything that I can do inside of here. So I have my accounts, my contacts, my leads, my opportunities. I'll go to my accounts area, just like we were doing it through the web browser. And now I have my active accounts. I have access to all of my same views. Like I've always done, I can pin different things on here. But this is the nice part. With the old version of the app, I was limited to one form, the main form that was configured on any entity. Now notice right here, I have access to any form that I want as long as I turn it on for mobile capabilities. So now I have access to all these different forms that I want to, look at inside of here. So again, any type of account forms, I have access to that. But notice, I have timeline in here. I have everything that I have capabilities that I saw in the other one is now in this unified experience. Here, is my reference panel that I can do everything. So if you notice, the only thing difference between the app and the web unified interface is the size. So just think of this is a tablet. Think of it as a phone. Just think of this half the size now. And so now everything is you're just kind of scrolling up and down, but it's the same exact user interface no matter where you're going. So hence the name Unified User Interface, and that's really what Microsoft was going for in this new version. The one thing I did not show you last time in the Unified was actually what the opportunity business process flow looks like. So let's show you what it looks like on the mobile. So I'm going to go back to this good old this is test wonderful opportunity. And I'm going to actually I actually have to open it up here. That just gave me some reference information. I apologize. So let me go up here to related and notice now I'm going to go to opportunities. And then when I select opportunities here, notice how it actually adds another tab onto here. And then it gives me the ability to see all of my, so let me just look at my open opportunities here. So I can switch. Gotta love this. They were just there, weren't they? All right. So you gotta love the live demos sometimes. So let me go back to my related items here and see why I am not go into my current opportunity list. Here we go. All right, I got to pick the right one. Gotta love sometimes a demo environment. So let me go into this as a test. And now what we're going to see is what the business process flow looks like in the unified experience. So now, it's much cleaner. You can tell where I'm at. It still does your timing. It still does your tracking. But, it's a very simple way to look at where I'm at here. And if I want to see what the steps are underneath each stage, I can just select that area. So I just select the development one. And now, it just went back in here and it gave me the ability to see what this looks like inside of here. So these are the different items I need to be completed. Notice inside the unified interface, it actually is a button. So here's that one where I said, you know what, I need to create a task. So this is that action. Notice that I already completed it. So I can do other things in here. And again, it's just as simple as what it was before, or I can go to next stage, and that's what this button is down here. So very simple for me to be able to, again, go from one interface to another, and it looks exactly the same no matter where I am inside of my dynamics. Now notice too, there's also a back button inside of here. So if I can just go back to the other screens, what I've been looking at. And so now it just allows me to go backwards into my different areas inside of dynamics. So that is why they call it the unified experience. And now what I want to do is show you the Outlook capabilities. So I'm going to go into here and I'm just going to bring up OWA. And I have this email already that I already had tracked. Well, notice that I have this little D Dynamics 365 icon. Same thing if you're on 8.2, if you have that app turned on. They have made improvements. What I will say is that the performance is better inside of this new app, and then also some of the capabilities. Another reason why it's called Unified Experience is because of, again, inside of here. So I already have this tracked, but if I want to track this against anything else, I can change regarding, I can untrack it, I can view this email inside Dynamics, but it's very simple for me to track it in here. But the nice thing is once it's tracked, I can actually click on this opportunity name, and now notice what it does is that it just brings up the Unified User Experience on here. Here's my business process flow. Here's my summary tab. I have access to other tabs inside of here. I can scroll down and look at my related records all inside of here. So now, my timeline is in here. So again, that's where it is that unified user experience, no matter where you are inside of Dynamics, if you're on the web, if you're on mobile, or if I'm using Outlook, I always have the same experience no matter where I'm at. So that's a very, very powerful capabilities inside of here. All right. So now that was really the overview of the changes that were happening inside of here. So I'm going to head back to my PowerPoint and kind of talk about some of the other pieces, that are also available on here. So let me just switch back to my PowerPoint here. And while I'm doing that here, all right. So what are some additional items that they talk about? So platform separation, and I'll just go through these really quickly here. So platform separation really meant that before in the older versions, if I wanted to make a change, let's say to cases, I can make the change to a case, but then I had to test everything that was available through sales. I had to test opportunities. I had to test quotes. I had to test orders. I had to test all of that because it was all in the same kind of code base. Well, this platform separation, what they did is that now you have your platform, which are kind of your core entities, let's say account, contact, and activities sitting on there. And now if you want sales, it's a thing that puts on top of that core platform. If you wanted customer service, it's just placed on top of it. Now it's apps that sit on top of that core platform. So that was a major change inside of 9.0. Because of that now, hopefully they can be a little bit more agile in releasing features and functionality. They don't have to regression test as much because they only have to regression test inside the app that they're making the changes in. Virtual entities. This is a very neat and new feature. So what this allows us to do very quickly is that now instead of having to integrate data directly into Dynamics, I can actually, just bring up data virtually and reading different sources. So I can use it in views, I can use it in advanced finds, I can use it in dashboards. So it looks like the data is sitting inside of Dynamics, but it's physically not sitting inside the Dynamics database. Now there are some technical specifications around that. If you want to look into that, there are some requirements on how to do that. So, please let us know. We'll be more than willing to talk to you about those. Just some other things, additional items to social engagement, security enhancements. Pretty much you can now configure session timeouts and different things like that. How long before it should time out? How long should they be active? When should you be giving people warning? That's all now configured in there. Someone told me that might be available in 8.2 too, but it was something that they created for 9. The Microsoft Flow integration, if you have Flow, and then the app designer. Again, like I mentioned before, that is now an app that unified interface. So they made some additional modifications to the app designer to just make that easier to create those. All right, so the next thing that we want to discuss here is the deprecated features. So the number one thing here was Outlook plugin. And people heard about that, and there was an uproar. There was a lot of unhappy people that was going to be deprecated. So Microsoft has reversed order, and now it's no longer deprecated as of a month ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. But what I would say is that the ones highlighted or bolded on here are the ones that probably impact most people. So dialogues are going away. So we'll have to kind of look at what your dialogues are doing and just determine what some new features and functionality that we can utilize on that, but we can see how we can redo some of your dialogues. Client API, so there is JavaScript changes. Again, the whole platform modification I mentioned allowed us, made them do some JavaScript changes. I don't want to get too technical on this call, so if you have some concerns about that, just let us know, and we can talk through what those JavaScript changes and client API modifications were. Silverlight, for those of you that don't know, Silverlight's going away. That's nothing new, but for those of you that have not changed any of your some of your legacy applications that are still using Silverlight, it's going away soon. Again, deprecated doesn't mean it's going away in 9.0. It's just saying that this is your warning. So just make sure that 9.1 or the next major version could get rid of these things at that time. So it's just kind of giving you a heads up that these things are moving away. Mail merge, again, mail merge was tied to the Outlook plugin, so we'll see what that is. But lots of times mail merge could be replaced by maybe some word templates or different things like that. So these other ones you can look at if you want to ask us about it. Please give us please contact us, and we'll love to talk to you about it. So how do you prepare for your upgrade? So this is a schedulable upgrade. Any of you that looked out in your org, starting in February, you can now schedule this. Before, it looked like you couldn't schedule anything until April or May. Some time slots may have freed up, but again, you probably don't want to go too fast. It just depends on how much configuration and customization you have in your org. Of course, always do it in your sandbox or dev environment first. Make sure everything works, and then upgrade your production environment. So we are doing a diagnostic for this. What we recommend a diagnostic for, because this is a major release and there are some code changes inside this release. If you're going from on-premise to online, I think that's just a given. There's multiple different changes, multiple different things, multiple data migration, a lot of things that we have to talk about. So we would recommend a diagnostic for that. But if you're going from 8.2 or 8.0 online to online, if you have a lot of integrations, if you have a lot of JavaScript, plugins, custom workflow activities, integrations with third-party products, if you've done a lot of UI changes, notice how, I know some forms that could have 50 or 60 sections on it. How is that going to render now in the new UI? So, again, just those are some of the things to take a look at. So if you're interested in talking to us about the upgrade, please contact us, or be more than willing to, talk to you. Otherwise, follow our blogs. We probably will have more webinars, that will just, again, give you some information. So I know I crammed a lot into these 30 minutes. If there's questions, I will be covering that. After this, we'll be responding individually to each of you. So now I'd like to transfer it back to Chad, and I thank you for your time today.
All right. Whoa. Thanks, Tom, for all that great information. And as Tom mentioned, the new version 9 update from Microsoft brings with it, really significant change, for the environment and your users. So if you need assistance, our certified experts here at LedgeU Partners can help make sure that your update is as smooth as possible, and also get your users excited about the new enhancements. So LedgeU is a home to several resources. We offer tips, tricks, best practices, and product news on our blog, which we really encourage you to subscribe to. We post several times a week. In addition, we host monthly free user group webinars specifically for Microsoft Dynamics 365 and CRM users and admins. Also, if you're not a member of the CRM UG community, we highly recommend you look into it. CRM UG offers a wide variety of educational resources that are extremely valuable. If you do have interest in joining, please contact a member of our LedU team, and we can provide you with a 10% savings on that membership fee. So if you missed my introduction, we did record today's presentation, and I will be sending everyone a link to access this webinar on demand because there was an absolute ton of information that Tom went through, and you may want to watch that a time or two again. We hope to see you again on future webinars. You can always visit our news and events page at ledupartners.com for all of our upcoming webinars that we have slated. Thank you, everyone, today for joining us, and make it a great day.